Recently, I recorded myself having a psychotic episode. I was trying to record for the whole week. I started on a Saturday night, but I couldn't make it past Wednesday afternoon, I believe, before I had a total meltdown and needed to basically step away from the camera and deal with my mental health. Making videos is not as important as taking care of my mental health. And some of you might be wondering why I haven't released a video in like 2 weeks. And the reason why is because I've been taking care of my mental health. Instead of focusing on making content and recording videos, I've instead been focusing on a wellness journey, I guess. When it comes to my mental health, it is not, I mean, it's better now, but it wasn't doing great during the last couple of weeks and during that week when I was recording, you know, my psychotic episode. And I've been suffering with depression lately, and that's been a bitch to deal with, I'm going to be honest with you, but things are starting to get better. My psychiatrist upped my antidepressant. So I wanted to show that footage that I recorded because I think it's important to show, you know, how disorienting psychosis could be. Like, I say this in the footage, but I do spend a lot of time talking about how I take care of myself and the good side of it and, you know, how everything's fine now. But, you know, I wanted to show what it's like when you're really suffering through the thick of it, when you really think someone's in your house or you hear noises and you can't identify if they're real or not, and having delusional thoughts like thinking somebody broke in my house just to steal my wallet, which I will cover in the video, you'll see. There was a lot of stuff that I felt was important to show. I want people to know what it's like living with this day to day. And like, that was the reason I chose to record it anyway. And of course I couldn't, you know, like I said, after the first few days, I had to like stop recording and had to just sit down and take care of myself. It's about 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, and I'm sitting here by myself. Josh went to his friend's house to like mix music and hang out and stuff. And within 10 to 15 minutes of him leaving, I started having very strange thoughts about somebody trying to break in. And then I heard a sound from the bedroom, and I went to check. I thought I heard something again. And I went to check. I checked the bathroom. Nobody was there. I looked out the window. Nobody's there. There's like, my neighbors are hanging out at the pool right now. But, you know, other than that, like, there's nobody outside my house is basically my point. I mean, I looked out my peephole. I'm checking to make sure my front door is locked again for the 1,000th time. And I came to this conclusion that, like, you know, like the delusions that I have, they're kind of forever. And there's not really anything I can do about it other than try to deal with it. And, you know, I'm thinking about bringing it up to my psychiatrist about how I'm still having this delusional thoughts. This very particular one about people trying to rob my house and how it keeps coming back even after, like, you know, a couple weeks of it not being around. And then I started getting to thinking about how I might have to take medication for the rest of my life. And I don't want that for myself. What I truly want is to be able to taper off my meds eventually. Not now, but later in life, you know? Taper off of them and eventually come to be off them completely and go into like a full remission from my symptoms. And like right now, that doesn't seem possible. And a lot of people will tell you that's not possible with what I have. Like, I'm gonna have to take meds for the rest of my life. And again, I have no problem with taking them for now, but eventually I want to get on a path to where I don't have to take meds. You know, sometimes I do resent having to be on antipsychotics and antidepressants and now an anti-anxiety med all the time. And I resent having a mental disorder in the first place, but there's nothing I can do about that. I think it's important to me to show exactly what I go through on a day-to-day basis and to talk about it. So it's the next morning, and Josh and I went on our walk, and I showed him what I recorded last night, and now he like understands why. I mean, he kind of already knew this, but I don't think he knew that I was starting to get these symptoms again. The thing with my channel is I talk a lot about how I'm stable, how I take my meds, how I'm doing good, but I wanted to show what it's like when I'm not doing so good. I'm definitely hearing more voices than I would like. I would like to hear none, if you want me to be honest. I'm feeling less myself. I'm not sure how well I'm managing. Would you say I'm managing okay? I guess. Yeah. I mean, we went on our walk this morning and that was nice. I also had incredibly interrupted sleep last night. Sleeping has become like the #1 enemy in this household. Like, I woke up several times last night crying and scared and afraid for my life for no discernible reason. Like, nothing was happening. Josh had to wake up with me a few times and like comfort me. But it got to the point where he was just passed out and I was still waking up every hour, just freaked the fuck out, totally scared. And I started worrying about having a seizure because one of the meds I'm on can cause seizures. I started worrying about somebody breaking in and killing us. I started worrying about some of the worst things that can happen that another human can do to you. And I started worrying about this all in the safety of my own home with all the windows and doors locked in the middle of the night while I should be sleeping. This is a warning sign of what is to come. And it's only going to get worse. And I know that. And I'm trying my hardest to manage. And I guess that's why I'm recording these videos and talking about it. It is a way of helping manage and distract. It's not an overnight thing. It's a slow shift in the way you think and perceive the world. So even though I can tell myself logically this shouldn't be happening, this probably isn't happening, it's likely not happening, I still have this voice, not real voice, but a voice in the back of my head telling me it is happening. And sometimes it is an actual voice telling me that it is happening. So it's Sunday night and I'm here by myself. Josh went back to his friend's house to work on more music, and unfortunately I have been hearing things. I've actually been having symptoms all day on and off, even though like I appeared fine on the outside, but I had been hearing strange things. Like I would hear banging and then knocking, and I heard voices. And they were much louder. They were not very faint. They were much louder, and they were not quite insulting me. They're kind of just talking amongst themselves, which was very strange. Talking about things that I was doing, like when I was eating, they would say that I was eating something, and you know, they would comment on whether or not like what I was eating was healthy. And I ate pretty healthy today, so like most of it was like, oh, she's eating crab. That's pretty good for her. It's a good thing that she's not eating cake right now, you know, weird stuff like that. And I'm starting to understand that like a lot of my anxieties and fears and even the voices now and are starting to circulate around food and losing weight and things like that. And it's really becoming obsessive. So I mentioned that the voices were starting to circulate around food, around telling me, oh, you're doing good, you're eating healthy, or oh, you're eating unhealthy, this is bad. And you know, telling me like if I eat something unhealthy, like look at that, that's going to show up on your thighs or something like that. Like, you know, it sounds like a mother in the 90s telling you not to eat French fries or something, right? And I'm starting to realize that, I mean, I've come to this realization for a while actually, that I have a very unhealthy relationship with food. And I have in the past binged and purged. In the past I have heavily restricted to the point where I didn't eat for a few days. I've been through the eating disorder like behaviors before, right? And I'm starting to worry that like my anxiety and my psychosis and my depression are starting to circulate around food and eating and habits and things like that. So I just went in the kitchen and attempted to eat something, and a voice immediately told me to stop eating. And this is what I was talking about earlier. I don't think I'm in a very healthy place when it comes to my relationship with food, and I think my psychosis is reacting to that. I think my psychosis is reinforcing unhealthy habits, because I want to be healthy, but that doesn't mean don't eat. You should eat. You know, eating is good for you. And I have this very, very strong fear that I'm going to choke to death. I also don't like that I'm overweight, and my voices are reinforcing all of those fears and anxieties. They're like, yeah, you're overweight. You shouldn't eat anyway. You're probably going to choke if you eat that, so just don't eat. Like right now, I can hear like, it's like I can't really hear or see anything, but I can like feel something in my bathroom, and I know there's nothing there. And it's just getting harder to cope day by day with this. I don't know what to do anymore. It's starting to become overwhelming. So it's been like an hour since last I recorded, and it's been basically an hour of absolute fucking hell. I keep trying to eat something because I'm hungry, and every time I go into my kitchen, I feel very scared. Every time I open my fridge, I feel even more anxiety. I feel like something is tugging at me from the inside, and it's trying to bring me down, like my heart and my soul and any happiness that I have. Like, it's just pulling me down into these deep waters of depression and sadness and hatred. And, you know, I feel that I'm gonna be like, I can't even talk, I can't even form sentences. And every time I think that I have a moment of freedom, every time I think that I'm okay and that I'll get through this, I start hearing voices laughing, like kids laughing at me. And it reminds me of when I was a little kid and I got made fun of a little bit. Like, I never really got super bullied, but I definitely got made fun of, and people didn't want to hang out with me, and I was isolated. And part of that was because of how I acted. Like, I acted really off the hook as a kid. Pretty much seemed crazy, let's put it that way. So people didn't want to fuck with the crazy person. See, I can't determine whether or not the shit is coming from upstairs or the apartment behind me. It's like, I just hear, like, banging. So what's been bothering me a lot is basically the thought that somebody's going to break into my house and that somebody's going to steal my laptop. Like, I really value my laptop. You know, it's not the best gaming laptop there is, but it's pretty damn good. And I really value it a lot, and I use it for streaming, for gaming, for making these videos, and I keep thinking someone's gonna break in and specifically and just take my laptop. And the other day, I remember coming home and seeing it moved a little bit, and I was like, I didn't move it like that. Somebody was in here. I was super convinced that somebody had broken in just to, like, move my laptop and had taken my wallet too. And at that point, I did not recognize that as a delusional thought. I was like, that's not delusional. That, like, this is just real because I can't find my wallet. And then I found my wallet, and then everything was fine, and I just let it go, right? But now I'm looking back and I'm like, you know, these thoughts that I have just been coming on for a while now. And it's not that I think my antipsychotic isn't working. It's that I think maybe I need a higher dose of it. Because my doctor said I'm on, like, a medium dose of what I take. And for those of you wondering, I take Abilify. I'm on 15 milligrams of Abilify. And it's like a middle of the road dosage, according to my doctor. And he was saying I could go up, or I could get the injection once a month. But I just had to, like, close my bathroom door and my bedroom door because I kept hearing shit coming out of there. And, like, I'm here alone right now. Like, Josh isn't here to help me and to talk me through this, and it's really fucking scary. Like, we're also going through, like, a fucking heat wave right now, but I'm cold. That's why I have a sweater on. I had to turn off my air conditioner earlier because I was getting cold, and it's like 100 degrees outside. I don't know why I'm so fucking cold. So, you know, this morning, I looked in the mirror, and I thought, I wonder if there's someone on the other side with a camera. And I was like, well, I mean, I record myself on camera all the time, so what's the difference? But I glazed over the fact that thinking somebody's on the other side of my mirror with a camera is incredibly delusional. Like, it's an actual delusional thought. I'm hearing my neighbors upstairs right now, and I'm like, I don't know if it's really them. When I was a child, I was afraid of mirrors because when I would look at myself for too long in the mirror, my face would change And sometimes I still get those fears, and it's weird to me that I haven't grown out of that I'm still suffering from whatever it is, to think that I'm like some kind of monster in the mirror, not really who I say I am, like there's someone else staring back at me, and I don't know what that means. I don't know what to do without Josh here. I'm completely lost. I keep hearing shit, and like there's like a whispering over here that keeps coming from over here. Yeah, there's nobody back here. No, I keep having to tell myself that there's no one in my apartment. There is no way that there is anybody in my house right now. And yet I'm terrified of somebody being in here. So that's basically it. I only recorded for like 3-4 days, and the reason why was because things took a turn for the worse, and I really needed to address it without a freaking camera and trying to make content. What you saw there was me transitioning into a deeper psychotic state. In the days following, I began to have a lot of delusional thoughts about people trying to rob me, about somebody being in my house, I started wondering if Josh was in on some conspiracy, although that subsided pretty quickly, especially since he's so helpful and loving and caring. It was hard for me to believe that he's trying to harm me when he shows nothing but care and kindness to me. Now, if I was unmedicated, that wouldn't matter. This is what medication does. It makes it so that you recognize what's happening and that you can manage it. It doesn't take away the symptoms, and I think that's really important. A lot of people think that meds just make the symptoms go away, and that's not true. Voices get fainter. They might be gone for like a couple weeks, but you will hear them every once in a while. Sounds, hallucinations, weird thoughts that you could categorize as delusional will come and go. But you will recognize it. You'll be like, that's a delusional thought. I need to deal with that. Well, that's going to do it for today, folks. If you found the video interesting, go ahead and like and subscribe. I release videos kind of consistently. I haven't released a video for the last couple of weeks. This is my first one in a while, but I try to release videos once a week. I talk about my struggles with living with schizophrenia from day to day, and if you think that sounds interesting to you, you can subscribe, and if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment below. Thanks very much, and you guys have a wonderful day.